As you settle in, preparing for rest, let your awareness drift inward. There's no need to force anything, no need to try. Simply allow your mind to notice the gentle, steady rhythm that lives within you. A quiet, faithful beat in the center of your chest. Thump, 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 thump. A rhythm so constant, so familiar, that we often forget to wonder about its source. Have you ever paused in the quiet of the night to ask how it knows? How does your heart know, moment by moment, beat by beat, when to begin? It does not ask for permission. It does not consult the clock. It simply knows. And tonight, we can journey into that gentle mystery, not to solve it with sharp facts, but to drift within its peaceful, rhythmic truth. There's nothing for you to do but breathe. Let the sound of my voice be a soft current, carrying you along. Let your body grow heavy, comfortable, and still. Imagine now a journey inward, a gentle shift in perspective, as if you could shrink down, becoming small enough to travel through the warm, flowing rivers within. You find yourself floating in a great, red river, the bloodstream. It is not a rush, not a frantic torrent. Here, in the quiet of rest, it is a broad, slow-moving current. The walls of this vessel are smooth and alive. You can feel the gentle, rhythmic pulse of the river itself, a wave of pressure that corresponds to that beat you feel in your chest. You are floating in the rhythm. The fluid around you is warm, like a perfectly heated bath, and you drift without effort, carried along by the slow, powerful currents of life. You are safe. You are held. The journey is calm, and the destination is the very heart of this rhythm. As you drift, the river widens. The currents guide you toward a vast, open space. You are entering one of the great chambers of the heart. It is not a machine of metal and gears, but a living cathedral, its walls made of powerful, yet graceful, muscle. The chamber is immense, and it echoes with a deep, resonant hum. This is the sound of life itself. The walls around you are a deep, rich red, woven with threads of tissue that spiral and curve. They're not static. They're alive, breathing with a slow, powerful grace. In a moment, you feel a gentle swell as the chamber fills, the river flowing in to replenish this sacred space. And then, with a slow, magnificent contraction, the walls press inward, a coordinated embrace that sends the river of blood moving onward. This is the beat, seen from the inside. A slow, powerful squeeze. A moment of work, followed by a moment of perfect release and relaxation. You are floating now in one of the upper chambers, an atrium. Think of it as a grand receiving hall. It is here that the blood returns, ready to be sent on the next phase of its journey. But where does the signal for this embrace come from? It does not come from the outside. It does not come from your conscious thoughts. It is born right here within the walls of the heart itself. Let your awareness drift toward the upper wall of this chamber. Nestled there, almost hidden, is a tiny, wondrous cluster of cells. It is smaller than your fingertip, a small patch of tissue that looks, at first, much like the rest of the heart wall. But these cells are unique. They're special. This is the heart's natural pacemaker, the sinoatrial node, or the SA node. This is the source. This is where the rhythm begins. Let's linger here, near this small, humble collection of cells. They're the conductors of the orchestra, the keepers of the beat. But they do not lead with force. They lead with a quiet, inherent rhythm. Imagine these cells as tiny, living metronomes. Unlike the other muscle cells of the heart, which wait for a signal to act, these pacemaker cells create their own. They have a unique property, a kind of gentle restlessness. They slowly, patiently gather a tiny electrical charge. Think of a rain barrel, slowly collecting drops of water from a steady, quiet drizzle. One by one, the drops fall. The water level rises, slowly, steadily. It does not rush. It simply accumulates. These pacemaker cells do something similar. They allow tiny charged particles, ions, to leak slowly across their membranes. A little bit of sodium drifts in like a single drop of rain. Then another, and another. The electrical potential inside the cell begins to rise, slowly, predictably. There is no tension in this process. It is a natural, effortless flow. Like a tide slowly coming in, the charge builds. The cell is patient. It knows its purpose. It gathers this energy at a set, rhythmic pace. And when the water in our metaphorical rain barrel reaches the very brim, it tips. It has to. It is the natural consequence of being full. In the same way, when the electrical charge in these pacemaker cells reaches a certain point, a threshold, something wonderful happens. The cell fires. It releases its own tiny electrical signal. It is not a violent explosion. It is more like a soft, luminous pulse. A single, tiny spark of light in the vast, warm darkness of the heart. A gentle, internal sunrise. This spark is the beginning of a heartbeat. It is the first note in a beautiful, lifelong symphony. And as soon as it is fired, as soon as the barrel has tipped, the process begins all over again. The cell resets, and the slow, steady leak of ions begins once more. Drop by drop by drop, the charge builds again at the same unhurried, reliable pace. This is the heart's internal clock. It is not wound by hand. It is not powered by batteries. It is powered by the simple, elegant physics of life. The constant, gentle movement of tiny particles, a dance of sodium and potassium, calcium and chloride, all moving in a rhythm that creates the pulse of your existence. It is a miracle of biology happening 60 to 100 times every minute without a single conscious thought from you. It just happens. And it is happening now within you, a steady, peaceful rhythm. Now imagine that first spark, that soft pulse of light born in the SA node. It does not remain isolated. Its purpose is to communicate, to begin a wave of action. The moment that first pacemaker cell fires, it ignites its neighbor, and that neighbor ignites the next. A chain reaction begins, but a slow, graceful one. Think of a field of fireflies, and one of them lights up. Its neighbor sees the light and flashes in response. Then its neighbor does the same. A wave of soft, golden light spreads across the field. This is what happens across the atria, the two upper chambers of the heart. The electrical signal, born in the SA node, spreads out like a ripple in a perfectly still pond. It flows from cell to cell, a wave of communication. This wave is a command, but a gentle one. It says, "It is time," and as the wave of electricity washes over the muscle cells of the atria, they respond. They contract. They squeeze together in a single, coordinated motion. It's a gentle contraction, like closing your hand slowly and softly. This is the atrial kick. It pushes the blood that has been pooling in these upper chambers downward through a set of one-way valves into the two larger, more powerful lower chambers, the ventricles. The wave of light has done its work in the upper chambers. The receiving halls have emptied their contents into the main halls below. And for a moment, the atria relax, the wave of light fades, and they begin to passively fill once more, waiting for the next spark, the next gentle command from the SA node. The journey of this electrical ripple is not over. In fact, it has only just begun. The signal has spread across the atria, but it cannot simply spill down into the ventricles directly. There's a layer of fibrous tissue that separates the upper and lower chambers, acting as an electrical insulator. The signal cannot cross it, except at one specific point. This point is another small, special cluster of cells. It is called the atrioventricular node, or the AV node. Think of it as a gateway, a checkpoint. It is the only door through which the electrical signal can pass to reach the powerful ventricles below. When the ripple of electricity spreading from the SA node reaches this AV node gateway, something remarkable happens. It pauses. The signal does not rush through. It is held here for a fraction of a second. This pause is not a mistake. It is a crucial, beautifully designed delay. It is a moment of profound wisdom within the heart's design. Imagine the wave of light arriving at a gate, and the gatekeeper holds it there for just a moment, allowing things to settle. This pause is essential. It gives the ventricles, the large lower chambers, enough time to fill completely with the blood that was just pushed down from the atria. If the signal were to rush through, the ventricles would contract before they were full, and the beat would be inefficient, weak. But the heart knows better. The AV node enforces a moment of stillness. A tiny, quiet breath between the contraction of the top and the contraction of the bottom. It is in this pause that the heart shows its intelligence. It is a moment of patience. The energy is gathered, waiting. The ventricles swell, filling with the life-giving blood they are about to send to the entire body. The pause ensures that every beat is as strong and effective as it can be. It is a tiny fraction of a second in real time, but in our journey, we can imagine it as a long, peaceful moment, a moment of quiet anticipation. The hum of the heart deepens as the lower chambers reach their full capacity. The gateway of the AV node holds the signal like a drawn breath just before the powerful exhale. And as you rest here, you can feel that rhythm in your own body. The beat and then the space between beats. That space is as important as the beat itself. It is a space of rest, of renewal, of preparation. It is the gift of the AV node. After this deliberate, perfect pause, the gatekeeper, the AV node, releases the signal. It is now time for the main event. The signal is passed down from the AV node into a specialized pathway of fibers designed to carry it quickly and efficiently to all the corners of the lower chambers. This pathway is like a highway for the electrical pulse. It first travels down a central bundle, a trunk line called the bundle of His, which runs down the septum, the wall that separates the right and left ventricles. Imagine this signal now, not as a broad ripple, but as a focused, shimmering thread of light, traveling down the very center of the heart. This main highway then splits into two main branches, one for the left ventricle and one for the right ventricle. These branches travel down toward the bottom, the apex of the heart, and from these main branches, an incredibly intricate network of smaller fibers spreads out, fanning up and around the walls of the ventricles. These are the Purkinje fibers. Imagine them as a delicate, luminous lace, a web of light woven directly into the heart muscle itself. They are the final distribution network. Their job is to deliver the electrical signal to every single muscle cell in the ventricles at almost the exact same time. This simultaneous delivery is critical. The ventricles are the powerhouses of the heart. The right ventricle pumps blood to the lungs to pick up oxygen. The left ventricle, the strongest chamber of all, pumps that oxygen-rich blood to every other part of your body, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. For this to happen effectively, the contraction must be a single, powerful, coordinated squeeze from the bottom up. It cannot be a disorganized ripple like in the atria. It must be a unified, mighty clench. The Purkinje fibers make this possible. The thread of light, released from the AV node, travels down the central bundle, splits into the two branches, and then flashes through the entire network of Purkinje fibers in an instant. The entire web of luminous lace ignites at once. And as this web of light flashes, every muscle cell in the ventricles receives the command. Now, and they all contract together. A deep, powerful, upward-ringing motion that is incredibly strong and efficient. It is this ventricular contraction that creates the main pulse you feel, the primary thump of the heartbeat. It sends the river of blood surging out of the heart and into the great arteries, beginning its journey to nourish the body. And then, just as quickly as it began, the contraction ends. The light in the Purkinje fibers fades. The ventricular muscle relaxes completely, and the chambers begin to fill with blood from the atria once more. The cycle is complete, and all the while, far above in the right atrium, the tiny pacemaker, the SA node, has been slowly, patiently gathering its charge again, preparing to release the next spark to begin the next beat. Let's retrace that journey, this river of rhythm. But this time, let's feel it more deeply. Settle back into that warm, dark, peaceful space within. You're floating weightless. Above you, in the upper chamber, you sense a change. a subtle shift in the energy of the space. It is the SA node, that humble cluster of cells reaching its tipping point. It is not a sound you hear, but a feeling you sense. A soft, internal glow begins to spread. Imagine a single drop of golden ink falling into clear water, spreading out in a slow, beautiful cloud. This golden cloud is the electrical signal washing over the walls of the atria. As the golden cloud touches the muscle fibers, you see them respond. They shimmer, and then gently, gracefully, they draw inward. The entire chamber embraces the blood within it, a soft, unified squeeze. You feel the current shift as the blood is pushed downward through the valves, which open like flower petals and then close with a soft, muffled sigh. The golden cloud has done its work here. It dissipates, and the atrial walls relax into a state of quiet waiting. But the energy of that cloud has been gathered, focused at a single point, the AV node. Here, the golden light is held, concentrated into a single, brilliant point like a star. It pauses. It waits. The world seems to hold its breath in this tiny fraction of a second. You feel the stillness, the gathering of immense potential. The lower chambers below are now full, brimming with the red river of life. Then, the star of light at the AV node releases. It does not explode. It flows. It pours downward into the dedicated channels, the bundle of his. You see it as a river of light, flowing swiftly down the center of the heart. The river splits, sending two powerful streams of light down either side of the great ventricular walls. And then, in a breathtaking moment, these rivers of light burst into a vast, intricate network of tiny, sparkling streams, the Purkinje fibers. For an instant, the entire lower half of the heart is illuminated from within, a brilliant, glowing lattice of pure energy. The response is immediate and immense. You feel a deep, resonant power building as all the muscle fibers of the ventricles, touched by this light, contract in perfect synchrony. It is a profound, upward squeezing motion, a powerful, life-affirming embrace that sends a great wave, a tidal surge of blood, out of the heart and into the body. This is the moment of systole, the peak of the heart's work. It is the source of the pulse you can feel at your wrist, the throb you can feel in your neck. It is the force that sustains you. And then, as quickly as it came, the light fades. The great muscles relax. A deep, profound softness returns to the chamber walls. This is diastole, the moment of rest. The heart releases, it lets go, and it fills once more. The chambers become passive, receptive, waiting for the blood to return. And the entire cycle waits for that next, gentle spark from the distant, faithful pacemaker. It is a dance of incredible precision and grace. Al speak, al ripple, al pause, al flush, al squeeze, al release. Over and over and over. A rhythm that has been with you since before you were born and will be with you for every moment of your life. It is the most reliable thing you will ever know. But what about when things change? What about when you need to run or when you're startled? How does the heart know to speed up? And how does it know, as you're resting now, to slow down into this calm, peaceful rhythm? The heart's internal pacemaker, the SA node, has its own intrinsic rate. Left to its own devices, it would beat at a steady, constant rhythm, perhaps around 100 beats per minute. But the heart is not an isolated system. It is in constant communication with the rest of your body, specifically with your brain and nervous system. This communication is not a harsh command. It is more like a gentle suggestion, a whisper. Your autonomic nervous system, the part of your nervous system that runs all the background processes without your conscious thought, has two main branches that speak to the heart. One is the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight system. The other is the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system. Think of them as two gentle hands, capable of influencing the heart's natural rhythm. When you need more energy, when you exercise or feel excitement or fear, your brain sends a signal through the sympathetic nervous system. Nerves that connect to the heart release special chemical messengers like norepinephrine. These messengers don't force the heart to do anything. They simply speak to the pacemaker cells in the SA node. They make the cells a little more leaky. They encourage those sodium ions to drift in just a little bit faster. The metaphorical rain barrel now has a slightly faster drizzle filling it. As a result, it reaches its tipping point more quickly. The pacemaker fires more frequently. The spark comes sooner, and the next one sooner still. And so, the heart rate increases. The rhythm speeds up to meet the body's demand for more oxygen, more blood. It is a beautiful, responsive system. The heart listening to the body's needs and adjusting its tempo accordingly. But now, as you're lying here, ready for sleep, the other system is dominant. The parasympathetic nervous system is the system of calm. As you relax, as you breathe deeply, this system sends its own gentle whispers to your heart. It releases a different chemical messenger, acetylcholine. This messenger has the opposite effect on the pacemaker cells. It makes them less leaky. It slows down the rate at which those sodium ions drift in. The drizzle filling the rain barrel becomes slower, finer. Drop, pause, drop, pause. It takes longer for the barrel to fill. It takes longer for the pacemaker cells to reach their threshold. And so, the pacemaker fires less frequently. The spark comes more slowly. The space between the beats lengthens. Your heart rate slows down, conserving energy, allowing your body to enter a state of deep rest and repair. This is what is happening within you right now. With every calm breath you take, you are encouraging this parasympathetic system. You are sending a message of safety, of peace, of stillness to your heart. And your heart is listening. It is responding to your calm, slowing its rhythm to match. It is a conversation between your mind, your breath, and the very core of your being. You can feel it. The beat is slower now, deeper, more resonant. Thump, thump, pause. Thump, thump, pause. It is the lullaby of deep rest, played on the strings of your own heart. And even with these outside influences, these gentle whispers from the nervous system, the fundamental rhythm is always there. The SA node is always in charge. The nervous system can only ask it to speed up or slow down. It cannot create the beat itself. The spark, the origin of it all, always comes from within the heart. It is autonomous. It is self-sufficient. It is a testament to the incredible resilience and wisdom of the body. Let's journey back to the cellular level, to those special pacemaker cells in the SA node. Let's spend a moment in quiet awe of their design. Imagine a single one of these cells. Its outer wall, its membrane, is not a solid barrier. It is a complex, intelligent surface studded with tiny channels and gates. These gates are specific. Some only let sodium pass through. Others are for potassium, still others for calcium. The cell's magic lies in the dance of these gates opening and closing. The leakiness we spoke of is due to a special set of channels that are always just a little bit open, allowing a slow, steady trickle of positive sodium ions to drift into the cell. This is the pacemaker current. This is the slow, steady drizzle. As the inside of the cell becomes more and more positive, it reaches a point where it triggers other gates to open. Suddenly, a rush of calcium ions floods into the cell. This is the tipping of the barrel. This is what creates the sharp, upward spike of the electrical signal, the spark itself. This is the moment of firing. And almost as soon as it happens, these calcium gates close, and another set of gates opens wide, the potassium gates. Potassium ions, which are concentrated inside the cell, now rush outward, carrying their positive charge with them. This outward flow of positive charge causes the inside of the cell to become negative again. It resets the system. It empties the barrel, ready for the next slow filling. This entire process, this dance of ions, sodium slowly leaking in, calcium rushing in, potassium rushing out, is called an action potential. It is the language of nerves and muscles. But in these pacemaker cells, it is unique because it happens automatically. It is spontaneous. It requires no outside trigger. It is a cycle that perpetuates itself as long as the cell has the energy to maintain it, and it repeats with a beautiful, dependable regularity. It is the ticking of a clock made of living tissue, a rhythm born from the fundamental laws of chemistry and electricity, woven into the fabric of life. Now, think of this happening in not just one cell, but in the thousands of pacemaker cells that make up the SA node. They do not all fire randomly. They are connected. They communicate with each other, and they synchronize their rhythm. The fastest cells tend to lead, and the others follow suit, creating one unified, powerful signal that is strong enough to begin the wave of contraction across the atria. It is a community of cells, all working together, all dedicated to a single purpose: to keep the rhythm, to be the faithful, unwavering source of the heartbeat. Let's once again follow the path of that signal, that electrical whisper. It leaves the synchronized community of the SA node and begins its journey across the atria. The muscle cells of the atria are different from the pacemaker cells. They are contractile cells. They are designed to do work. They are in a resting state, waiting. They cannot create their own signal. They must be told when to act. When the wave of electricity from the SA node reaches one of these atrial muscle cells, it causes a rapid change in its own electrical state. Gates open, ions rush in, and the cell is stimulated to contract. It passes this signal on to its neighbor, and so the wave propagates. Imagine a line of dominoes standing on end, waiting. The SA node is the finger that gently tips the first domino. That one falls, tipping the next, and a wave of falling dominoes spreads across the surface. This is how the atria are activated. A wave of contraction that is smooth and coordinated. Now, when this wave reaches the AV node, our gateway, it's as if it encounters a set of much slower, heavier dominoes. The wave is delayed. The dominoes take longer to fall. This is that crucial pause. The AV node cells are designed to conduct the signal much more slowly than any other cells in the heart. This inherent slowness is their gift, their purpose. It is a beautifully simple and effective way to build a delay right into the system. After the pause, the signal is handed off to the super-fast pathway, the bundle of His and the Purkinje fibers. If the atrial cells were like dominoes, these Purkinje fibers are like a network of flash powder trails. The moment the signal enters this network, it ignites the entire system almost instantaneously. Whoosh! A flash of light that covers the entire inner surface of the ventricles. This is what ensures that all the ventricular muscle cells, all those powerful contractile fibers, get the message at the exact same time. It's not a wave or a ripple here. It is a sudden, all-encompassing command. And the result is that powerful, unified contraction. The whole chamber squeezing as one. This design is a masterpiece of efficiency. A slow gathering of the signal to allow filling, followed by a rapid, widespread distribution of the signal to ensure a powerful, synchronized pump. It is a system that has been perfected over millions of years of evolution. It is robust. It is reliable. It is happening within your chest right now, a silent, perfect performance. The gentle spark in the SA node, the slow ripple across the atria, the wise pause of the AV node, the lightning-fast flash through the Purkinje fibers, the mighty squeeze of the ventricles, and the sweet release of relaxation. A cycle of work and rest, a rhythm of life. And as you lie here, drifting deeper and deeper into a state of peace, you can feel this rhythm as a profound source of comfort. It is the sound of your own body taking care of you. You do not have to command your heart to beat. You do not have to worry if it will remember. It remembers. It knows. Its knowledge is deeper than thought. It is written into the very nature of its cells. The steady leak, the inevitable tip, the faithful spark. It is a rhythm you can trust. It is a rhythm you can surrender to. Let your awareness expand from the tiny pacemaker cells to the grand chambers of the heart, and then to the feeling of your whole body at rest. Feel how the blood, sent out by that powerful beat, is now flowing gently to every part of you. A warm, nourishing river, bringing oxygen and nutrients and carrying away waste. It is a system of perfect giving and receiving. Your toes are warm, your fingers are relaxed, your mind is quiet, all nourished by this steady, faithful rhythm. The heart serves the body, and the body, in its rest, serves the heart, allowing it to beat slowly and calmly, conserving its precious energy. Think of the sheer number of times this has happened. By the time you are 70 years old, your heart will have beaten more than 2.5 billion times. 2.5 billion sparks, 2.5 billion ripples, 2.5 billion powerful contractions, all without a single conscious instruction. It is perhaps the most profound act of faithfulness you will ever witness, and it is happening within your own being. It is a constant reminder that you are alive, that you are sustained, that there is a deep, powerful wisdom at the core of your existence that is always at work on your behalf. So, as you prepare to drift off to sleep, let this rhythm be your anchor. Let it be your lullaby. Let go of the day. Let go of any worries or thoughts. They can be set aside. There is nothing for you to do right now but rest. Your heart is on watch. It has the rhythm. It knows what to do. You can trust it. You can let your own conscious mind take a rest, knowing that this deeper, more ancient intelligence is in control. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest with each breath. Feel the soft, steady beat within. Let the two rhythms, your breath and your heartbeat, intertwine. Let them slow down together, two partners in a slow, peaceful dance, leading you into the quiet, restorative sanctuary of sleep. The spark is gathering now in the SA node. Slowly, patiently, the ions are drifting. The charge is building. There is no hurry. The space between this beat and the next is a moment of perfect peace. And in that space, you can let go. You can drift. The spark will come when it is time. The beat will happen when it is time. Everything is unfolding in its own perfect rhythm. Your only task is to rest, to allow, to receive this gift of deep, profound peace. The rhythm is steady. The night is quiet, and you're safe, drifting now, floating on the gentle, rhythmic river of life toward the peaceful shores of sleep. The quiet hum of the heart muscle, a deep and resonant bass note, underlies everything. It is the sound of readiness, of potential energy held in living tissue. The walls of the chambers are thick and strong, yet they hold a softness, a yielding quality, as they wait for the signal. The blood that fills them is a liquid warmth, a carrier of stories from every corner of your body, now return to the center to be renewed and sent out again. In this inner world, there is no sharp light, only a soft, biological luminescence. The glow of the electrical signal is not like a light bulb, but more like the gentle phosphorescence of the deep sea, a light that is alive. Let's return to that pause at the AV node. Let's truly appreciate its significance. Imagine the atria, the upper chambers, as gentle clouds that have just released their rain into the valleys below, the ventricles. The AV node is like the quiet moment after the rain has fallen, but before the rivers in the valley have begun to swell and flow. It's a moment of absorption, of saturation. The ground, the ventricular muscle, soaks in a life-giving fluid. This pause prevents a flash flood. It allows the power to be gathered deliberately. Without this pause, the heart's effort would be a frantic splash. With it, it becomes a mighty, purposeful surge. This tiny island of slow-conducting cells provides a wisdom that echoes through the entire circulatory system. It is a moment of stillness that creates the possibility of true power. And what are the Purkinje fibers? Let's see them again, not just as a web of light, but as the roots of a great tree spreading deep into the soil of the ventricular walls. The signal from the AV node is the life force from the trunk sent down into these roots. As the energy flows through them, it nourishes the soil, the muscle itself, causing it to clench and grip just as roots grip the earth. This upward squeeze from the apex of the heart upwards towards the great arteries is like drawing water up from the deep earth and pushing it up into the trunk of the tree. It's an organic, powerful motion. The The heart is not just a pump. It is a living, breathing organ with a wisdom that mirrors the patterns of the natural world. A tree of life rooted in your very center. Consider the blood cells themselves floating on this journey. To them, the heartbeat is the entire universe. It is the wave that moves them, the force that gives them purpose and direction. They are passive travelers on this grand, rhythmic current. They drift into the atrium, wait in the gentle pool, and then are pushed through the pedal-like valves into the ventricle. They swirl in the growing vortex of the filling lower chamber, held for that brief, still moment of the AV node's pause. Then, with a colossal, coordinated push, they are rocketed out into the vast network of arteries. They are sent on their mission to deliver their precious cargo of oxygen. Their entire existence is defined by this rhythm, born in a tiny node they will never see. They simply trust the current. They surrender to the flow. In the same way, you can surrender to the rhythm of sleep, trusting that the currents of your own body are guiding you toward rest and renewal. The chemistry of it all is a quiet miracle. This dance of ions, sodium, potassium, calcium, is happening trillions of times every second throughout your body. But here in the heart, it is harnessed to create a singular, macroscopic rhythm. It's as if the universe's background hum has been focused into a beautiful, coherent song. These are the same elements found in stars and in the sea, the fundamental building blocks of the cosmos, organized within your cells to perform this incredible, life-sustaining task. The sodium that leaks in is like the salt of the ancient oceans from which life first arose. The calcium that rushes in to trigger the contraction is the same element that gives strength to your bones. It is all connected. You are a universe of coordinated, rhythmic processes, and the heart is your sun, the source of the energy that drives it all. Let's think about the heart's relaxation, the moment of diastole. It is just as important as the contraction. It is the moment the heart nourishes itself. The coronary arteries, the vessels that feed the heart muscle itself, receive the majority of their blood flow during this relaxation phase. When the great muscle unclenches, it creates a space for the blood to flow into its own substance, feeding and rejuvenating it. So, the heart's rest is not empty time. It is a time of self-care, of replenishment. It is a perfect model for our own lives. The pause, the rest, the sleep is not wasted time. It is when we repair, when we replenish, when we nourish the very systems that allow us to be active and engaged in the world. As your heart rests between beats, so too can your entire being rest now in the quiet of the night. The system is also wonderfully redundant and resilient. While the SA node is the primary pacemaker, the heart has backup systems. If for some reason the SA node were to fail, the AV node can take over. Its intrinsic rhythm is slower, perhaps 40 to 60 beats per minute, but it can generate its own spontaneous signal. And if the AV node were to fail, even the Purkinje fibers themselves can act as a pacemaker at an even slower rate of 20 to 40 beats per minute. It is a system with layers of safety, a testament to how essential this rhythm is for life. This knowledge can bring a deep sense of security. The body has a plan, and a backup plan, and a backup for the backup. It is profoundly committed to its own continuation, to your continuation. You're in safe hands, you're on. So feel that slow, steady beat. A sign of the parasympathetic system's gentle dominance. A sign of rest. A sign of peace. The whispers to the SA node are saying, slower, slower, it is safe to rest. And the faithful pacemaker cells listen. The drizzle of ions slows. The time between sparks lengthens. The pause between the beats grows, a luxurious space of quiet and calm. In this space, your muscles can release. Your thoughts can dissolve. Your breath can deepen. You are sinking now into a soft, warm bed of tranquility, held securely by the unwavering rhythm of your own heart. It knows the way. It knows the time. It knows exactly what to do. All you have to do is let go and trust the beat. Imagine the sound of this system, not with your ears, but with your inner senses. The SA node has a sound like a soft, shimmering bell, ringing at a slow, steady tempo. Its chime sends a wave of resonance, a low hum spreading across the atria. When this hum reaches the AV node, it is gathered and held, the sound muted for a moment, a held note of anticipation. Then, it is released in a rush, not as a sound, but as a silent, powerful vibration that thrums down the central fibers. The vibration ignites the Purkinje network, and for a moment, there's a deep, resonant chord that vibrates through the entire ventricular structure, a chord of immense power and unity. This is the sound of the contraction, a deep bass thump that echoes through your entire being. Then silence, a profound, restful silence, filled only with the soft, shimmering overtone of the next bell about to ring. This is your personal symphony, a composition of perfect rhythm and harmony. The heart's electrical field is so powerful that it can be detected on the surface of your skin. An electrocardiogram, or EKG, is simply a recording of these electrical events from a distance. The ripple across the atria creates the P wave. The pause at the AV node is the silent space that follows. The flash through the ventricles creates the big, spiky QRS complex, and the resetting of the ventricles creates the final T wave. It is a drawing of your heart's rhythm, the signature of life, a repeating pattern of waves and spikes that tells the story we have been exploring tonight. A story of a spark, a pause, and a squeeze. A story that is written on paper in the doctor's office, but is written in the language of life within you at every moment. As you drift, you can feel yourself becoming this rhythm. Your awareness merges with the pulse. You're the spark. You are the ripple. You're the quiet pause. You are the powerful squeeze and the gentle release. You are not separate from this process. You are this process. It is the most fundamental expression of who you are as a living being. It is the dance of life itself, and you are the dancer. There is no effort. There is no struggle. There's only the flow, the rhythm, the beat. Let it carry you now. Let it rock you gently, like a cradle. The beat is a promise of constancy, a promise of life, a promise of the coming dawn after a long and peaceful night's rest. The darkness behind your closed eyes is a canvas. Let the images of this journey float there gently. The soft, golden glow of the spreading atrial wave. The bright, star-like point of light at the AV node holding its breath. The brilliant, flashing web of the Purkinje fibers illuminating the great lower chambers from within. These are not just scientific concepts. They are images of peace, of order, of profound and beautiful function. They are the inner workings of the sanctuary that is your body, a place of peace, of safety, of incredible, quiet wisdom. The heart does not need to know why it beats. It does not ponder its own existence. It simply is. It simply does. It embodies a kind of deep, cellular faith, a trust in its own nature. We can learn from this. As you fall asleep, you can let go of the need to know, the need to figure things out. You can simply be, you can simply rest. You can trust in the deep, cellular faith of your own body to carry you through the night. The heart will beat, the lungs will breathe, the cells will repair, the mind can be still. This is the gift of sleep, a surrender to the wisdom that is already within you. A wisdom that expresses itself most beautifully in the simple, steady, faithful rhythm of your own heart. Thump, thump, rest. Thump, thump, rest. The beat goes on, and you can sleep.